Hello boys and girls, and welcome back to the channel. Senpai here, and I am super excited to show you my creation. We're talking about the Senpai hobby handle. I got the first one all finished and done. This one is going to Jason Combs. Thank you for being a super awesome dude. I've already sold, I think, 3 of these that I've got to make up. Everyone pretty much seems to want the collet style. Like I said before in another video or stream, if you want the style that ends up holding like the Kaizo or BMC or the SAB handles, those are going to run you about $45 each. And I'm going to show you the different woods that I have. I still have one that is my favorite, but I just got in a whole bundle a few minutes ago from a company that I ended up ordering the blanks from. These are all made by hand, sanded and ground down and shaped by hand. How I end up doing this is I end up contacting whoever ends up wanting to order one, which I forgot to mention. The collet style like this runs about $10 more. It's going to be $55, and the reason being is because I have to buy the collet to go into them, and I try not to get super cheap ones. What I do is once you decide that you want one, I will send you pictures of the samples of wood that I have. You pick the one that you want, and then whether you want a collet style or whether you want the groove style that have magnets inside to hold the chisel blades. Leon decided that he wanted to be greedy, and he's going to get about 15, and he wants one for every one of his chisels. So yeah, that should be interesting because I've got to try and make them not uniform, but he wants them about pen size. That's about what size he wants. And his favorite is the bloodwood, which happens to be my favorite out of all the colors too. So I end up asking you how you like your pins. Some people like something bigger like the BMC handles or like a Sharpie. Some people prefer smaller like a regular pen. I have you send me a picture of how you hold said pen, because that gives me an idea. I don't make these round. I actually make them with a groove for your finger, for your other finger, and for your thumb in there so that it sits comfortably for long-term use, and it just softly rocks, like so it slides and it's comfortable. That's why I'm creating these. Is I've had issues with a lot of the handles and stuff. They're just not comfortable. You have the Kaizo ones. They're heavy. They're solid aluminum, and I just don't find comfort in them. Same with the BMC. Plus, if you're scribing with them with a round handle, it has a tendency of it can rock back and forth. I don't want that. I want this to be when you're holding it with your fingers in the grooves, it doesn't rock. It stays in that same motion every time. It's going to give you better production and just turn out cleaner work. So without further ado, let me jump you down to the table, take a look at the finished one that I have to put in the mail to get out to Jason, and then show you the wood types that I just got in. All right, so here she is. This is been sanded down by hand, no shellacking, no anything like that. This is just raw wood. Then once I ended up finishing sanding it down, I actually went over with a rougher sandpaper on the finger grooves. And if we take a look at it here in this light, you can see the finger grooves. Leon was trying to get me to get into using a lathe, enough so that he wanted to send me one for Christmas. And over the weekend, I went, yeah, no, you know what? Let's not, because it takes away from the principle of what I wanted to do. I really appreciated the thought and everything, but once I was done with this, I was super happy and super proud of it. I don't think I could get the same not quality, but the same outcome if I ended up trying to do this with a lathe. Plus, these parts here, I can't do with a lathe. It has to be done by hand. So I've been rotating it so you can see the grooves. And the way that this ends up working is, so you have your index finger groove, you have a thumb groove over here, and then you have your second finger groove over here. So when you're holding it, if you want to use it this way, you can. If you're more comfortable holding it this way, you can. You can see I've really sanded and polished down this shaft over here so that it slides nicely in here. And wood just feels so good in the hand. Now, over time, I will perfect, like, I wanted to put his initials in here, and I did put SH for Senpai Hobby on the back. Future renditions of this, I may end up changing, basically cutting off of the end here and making a tunnel, if you want to call it that, inside to hold your extra collets on here, and then make the end with magnets so that it can snap on, so it's all one piece. I wanted to create something that will I mean, unless your dog chews on it or something like that, should last you forever. A lot of people have this style Scriber. I don't have a thing in here because I wanted to keep them brand new, but a lot of people have this style. I have a whole bunch of them. That's why I decided to come up with this style. And then I'm also making ones that have groove inside so that these styles can slide in, and they're going to have magnets inside to hold them. So that way, once you're done, you can just slide it out and slide it back in. $45 one-time charge for this, or $55 for a collet style like this. And yeah, I'm really happy with this. Now, for those of you going, well, what if I'm trying to do it this way? Well, you can do that. You still have your finger groove, depending on which one, but your finger groove for your thumb, that you can do it this way, or if you're wanting to do it this way. It's still comfortable no matter what. But I end up having you send me a picture of how you hold a pen so that I can judge and get a correct sizing for what your hand is and how your fingers end up sitting on the pen to try and make it most comfortable for you. And I try and make it comfortable for you, not for me. So getting this guy out of the way, I'm going to keep this view right here because it's going to show off the wood a little bit better. And we're going to zoom in all nice and tight. So this is Bokote. And I believe this, all the woods I have are not like woods that you go to Home Depot and freaking pick up and have them cut off. These are all either from Brazil or Africa. Most of them are all hardwoods. And so I didn't want typical woods. Yes, I could have made them or oak, pine, something like that. But I wanted something unique. So this one is called Bloodwood. And I have a bunch of those. Some of them are darker, some of them are lighter. But yeah, so this is Bokote. And I do like the patterns that are in here. I ended up getting samples of these. Some of these I like, some of them I don't. Like this sample, I'm going to have to wash this one off because I think it's just dirty. But this is the same wood and it looks great. So I think there's just debris, maybe from shipping or storage, something like that. So we'll clean that one off. So we have Bokote. Now this one, I was not expecting this size to be this big. Like it's freaking huge. So this is Indian ebony. And it's heavy, like it is super heavy. Leon wanted me to make something like these, like the dspiae sanders. And I think that these will actually be perfect. I can get two of these out of this blank. So I may, and he wants, I think 3 or 4. So he can have one for every size. So I think that this one's going to get set aside to make that just because of its size itself. And it is a nice heavy wood. So I don't think I'm going to have to worry about splitting or anything else like that. But this is going to be Indian ebony. So over here, I have 2 of these blanks, and this is going to be Brazilian ebony. It's a nice hardwood, dark, looks great. So that should make a nice handle. This is going to be Bolivian rosewood. So nice patterning in there. You can see the ends there. This one I think is Abaria, I think. So this one's a little bit lighter. I think this is more of a softer wood. But it has the camera's not going to pick it up, but it has a nice iridescent sheen to the wood. But I just like the patterns on that. So this is going to be a Gabon ebony. And so this one's going to be a hard one, and you can kind of tell by the way that it's cut that this one's going to be a pain in the butt to cut. So yeah, this one's going, but it's nice. It's heavy, it's dense. So if you like a heavier feel, this is going to be great. I think the pattern's going to be great once it's sanded down, and that's going to be gorgeous. See here, we have East Indian rosewood. So this is really close to the bloodwood, but not quite as red. But great patterning in there. This one is going to be black palm. And you can tell from the patterning, it looks really cool. These I only ended up getting one of. This is going to be a marble wood. And it has a great, well, marbling in there. Like that looks great. And then last is Camatillo. This one is gorgeous. Like that red with the light colors passing through it and everything, that's going to make a beautiful handle. Now there is one here that I'm going to make my own handle out of, and this is going to be a red Kulaba burl. I love burl wood. You can't really see it clearly right there, but if I show you guys the end here, like you can see all the little knots and the little knot stuff like that in there. I love the look of old burl wood, the way they did paneling and stuff like that in the old days. So this one's going to be my own handle. It's about a medium density. I'm not sure why there's wax all over the ends. I'm not sure if they do that to like hold the pieces together. But yeah, it's on both ends, so maybe it's to seal in the wood. I know all of these are already cured and dried, so I'm not worried about that. And then lastly, I have these. These are what are actually my favorites and seem to be everybody's favorite color. So these are bloodwood. These two blanks are already spoken for other people. One is for Leon, and I gotta order more because he wants all his handles to be this color. That's what I ended up making Jason's out of. So this shade of it is beautiful. These are lighter and they still look great. They have a great coloring to them with the red going through there. But this darker shade is just gorgeous once it's all polished up and everything. And then one thing I would mention is one reason that I don't like do coatings or anything on here is for feel. Like this is something you're going to be handling. It's going to naturally get oils from your body or from your hands in there, and it's just going to cure that wood and give it a nice natural sheen. I am making a couple. Like I said, I've already sold 3 so far, so I've got to make those up. They are going to take, because I am doing everything by hand, they are going to take about a week each, somewhere in there to make. So I'm not going to be cranking these out like 20 in a week. That's just not going to end up happening. They get sanded and rounded and done all by hand. I use a Dremel for a lot of it, but it's mostly sanded by hand, things like that, and all shaped by eye. If you're interested in one of these, you can reach out at senpaihobby74@gmail.com. There will be a link down below. Or you can hit me up on Facebook, look up David Starshadow, PM me your info on there. My personal Facebook has my channel logo on there, so should be easy to find. Like I said, $45 for a slide in and $55, which seems to be a majority of the average user's favorite for the collet style. I wish I didn't have to charge more, but I have to spend about $10 for the collets and the postage and things like that. So it is what it is. And like I said, on the future ones, I think I'm going to end up making where the end cap will slide off with magnets and you can put your extra collets in there. And honestly, if you're just using these for scribers, you're not really going to end up changing it out from the other. But I want to give so that you can, I mean, if you choose to use it for that, a couple people have asked me about making them for hobby knives. I hadn't thought of that. I can look into that. If someone is interested, I am more than willing to try and make that. And we'll have to figure out the price on that, because I will literally have to buy a hobby knife to get the ends to do that. So should be easy enough to do. I just have to sort it out. If you guys like this video and you want to see more stuff like this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe if you haven't already, because it really boosts my ego. Thank you everyone that has been liking and watching my videos. I don't know where all these views are coming from, but I appreciate each and every one of you. As usual, Senpai out. Peace.